Hello YouTube, welcome. In this video, we will check the new IGN video, which is related to the Crimson Desert. I already published the long 10 minutes, 11 minutes, I believe, video and the reaction part on the YouTube. I'm appreciated for all of the support that you show on this one. And there is the part 2. The IGN guy is just talking about the, combat system, and we will check it. Seems like the combat system will change the entire, these type of games genre. Okay, let's go. Majin, thank you so much for subscription, my dear friend. Welcome. And this is IGN. This is coming from IGN. I will also share this link in the description section. I have no idea what we will encounter with, but let's go and check. It's a robot.
It would be easy to take a quick look at Crimson Desert and assume it's another fantasy action game where you hack and slash your way through enemies with repeated presses of the attack button. And if you equip your protagonist, Cliff, with a sword, you can certainly do that. But tap 2 of your controller's face buttons together and he'll lunge, thrusting the blade directly forward. If you then press both the light and heavy attack buttons at the same time, he'll transition into a powerful, magic-infused overhead slam, bringing his...
Okay. While you're using your physical gear, there will be also magic. Probably we will learn it how to use it. We also saw that in the first video. I wonder that what it will just, give us as a new, the combat.
Sword down in an arc of dizzying particle effects. There's more than one way to swing a sword, basically, and that applies to everything in your...
Bro, that's definitely good. Like, how many games are doing this in these days?
To every...
Look, you're just fighting with sword, instantly change to spear with that momentum, using the spear's momentum and your body momentum, you're just kicking people.
There's more than one way to swing a sword, basically, and that applies to everything in your combat art.
How many games do we have can do that? It's completely freestyle combat.
Arsenal. Transition from aiming a bow into a dodge roll, and you'll trigger a brief window of medieval Matrix slow motion, perfect for scoring a headshot. Cast a spell at the apex of a jump, and you'll launch yourself into the air, riding the energy of the magic's blast. And, in perhaps the most entertaining example, hold 2 face buttons in conjunction with shifting the direction of the left analog stick to unleash a variety of increasingly amusing wrestling moves, from simple grapples to human hammer throws.
Bro, like, simple grapple is this?
Simple grapple.
This is the simple grapple. How many games are doing this? Like, I'm not playing the other games, but I'm watching lots of games, how they look like. This combat is completely different than the other games. Is there any other example, guys? If you know any example, please let me know in the comment section. Also, do not forget to like this video when you're done with watching this.
To human hammer throws. For this month's IGN First, we spoke to the design team at Crimson Desert developer Pearl.
Okay, who's this guy? Young J, mid-age J, mid-age number 2 J, old J, Ola J, Mr. J, Sungling Do, J Jun Lee. I told him this is the Mr. J. He just got face surgery. We found him. Here is the Mr. J. The missing developers of Black Desert Online. No, that is freestyle like it is. Yeah. Kevin Kim, I can see his name is Cho.
Abyss to learn how they crafted this deep, multi-layered combat system. The very first thing they said was both surprising and helped contextualize everything. One of the key inspirations for Crimson Desert's combat was retro arcade games like Samurai Showdown, Final Fight, and King of Fighters. Suddenly, all those multi-button combos and link moves make much...
Yeah, that multi-button combos that's the point. You know what will happen? Just take your notes. You guys will say that when you were right. Most of the big streamers, they call themselves gamer. They will not be able to play this game. And they will say that this game sucks. Because most of the big streamers calling themselves gamers, they don't know how to, control their character with multi-button keyboard thing, because we used it on Black Desert Online for like 7, 8 years. I don't know. It's not important who the big streamers, they call themselves gamer. They will just tell that this game sucks because they will not be able to play it. They don't have enough potential to, maybe they have potential, but they refuse to reach that potential. It happens many times on Black Desert Online. Lots of big streamers, they said Black Desert Online combat sucks because they don't know how to handle it. By far the best combats in the market is on Black Desert Online right now. Completely freestyle. Like you have to control your character with multi-button, skill keys. And the same one is on this one. And it's even improved right now. More optimized, better graphics, and more optimized, I can say. It will be very, very interesting to watch all of those, big streamer gamers that can't handle this game and they just be toxic on this game. It will be so nice to farm them.
More sense. But those fighting game combos are not necessarily the thing that Pearl Abyss intended to replicate. The team cites the strong sense of impact that comes with each blow, both inflicted and received, as a key aspect they wanted to capture. That's clear not just in the visuals, but in the crunchy audio.
Oh, that combo. Look at this.
Visuals, but in the crunchy audio.
First left punch.
Visuals, but in the crunchy audio.
Let's just make it slow. Slow, slow, slow. Where is slow? This one. Make it slow, please.
Yeah.
Left punch to the to her chest or throat, and then attacking with sword. No, it's not sword. Is it attacking with sword? No, it's just literally. This is a striker succession. No way. They're using striker succession animations. Look. You will just see it. Look. This is Dosa's kick, F skill. It just missed. This is striker. I know that animation. And finishing with sword. Whoa. It's getting better and better in every video. Thank you, IGN. Oh, that finish.
The sound design team
This game is it's getting brutal.
directly references Capcom as an inspiration. But across the 10 different boss battles they've fought so far, plus plenty
Is that blood?
more skirmishes in the open world, it's clear that there's more to it than that. Fighting game characters have access to many different moves that can be chained together to create unique approaches and strategies. Open world games, on the other hand, typically have a much more restrained moveset. A dodge, an attack, and a counter, for instance. But despite being a fantasy open world game itself, Crimson Desert's long list of combat moves seems to be gunning for the breadth of options that fighting games thrive on. Cliff's ever-expanding ability tree means there's a multitude of ways to approach any fight. It's not just ranged versus melee, but the more minute choices within those options. Will you weave kicks and suplexes into your sword fight? Channel lightning down your blade? Use whistling arrows to summon artillery strikes? The important takeaway here is that Pearl Abyss refuses to provide any real strict definition for Crimson Desert's combat system. Unlike something like Batman Arkham, there's no rhythm or pattern to follow. The combat team told me that they had no interest in creating a game where you have to respond to on-screen prompts by pressing specific buttons. The kind of system we've
How many weapons you can use? Yes.
seen in games like Mad Max, Shadow of Mordor, and both Marvel's Avengers and Spider-Man games. Instead,
I feel Shadow of Mordor vibe from this game. I don't know why. If you ask me that, which game you feel like closest to this one, I feel Shadow of Mordor. Zarka is just amazing. Like the experience that comes from Black Desert Online over years and years and years, they just combined it into the solo game with a new engine, and here it is. Also, CM Zarka is the community manager of our region, by the way. He's a very important guy. He's almost like as important as like Mr. J.
the studio aims to fulfill a player's
For some, he is the J's son.
fantasies by allowing them to do whatever they want in any situation. That arguably makes Crimson Desert's approach to battle a bit loose, and for some, the distinct lack of rules.
Oh, that is good. Look, these are tiny details, but they are very important.
Battle a bit loose.
Look at the animation now.
And for some,
that animation, hits to the legs and breaks the connection between legs, and this guy is just falling in that direction. he hits from this way and the body is direct, body directions is this way. These are tiny differences. When you do that to the other games, normally this body is looking that way, isn't it? This body, it drops like and directly behind, but he hit from here and the momentum just, let the body just stay, go in there. These are like very nice in-depth things for like a solo game.
The distinct lack of rules.
You see, the body normally it would just, fall ground like this in other type of games because it's some kind of pattern. It will be the pattern when you use that skill. No matter where you use the skill, the body just drops like this.
Or rhythm may be frustrating. There are no hard counters for particular enemies, for instance, nor any kind of strict rock, paper, scissors relationships between different attack or defense types. A particular weapon may be stronger against shielded enemies, for instance, but there's no requirement for you to use it. The same applies to bosses. While they certainly...
So, from the explanation of this IGN guy, we understood that experience and the skill will just increase your, gameplay quality. Because he's saying that the difference in between weapons not that much significant. Maybe some certain scenarios, like it will be stronger against someone, but it will not be significant, like not the rock, paper, and scissors thing. Will be interesting.
They have attack patterns that can be memorized and weaknesses that can be exploited. Polar Abyss has no interest in demanding you pay attention to that. The team believes that...
Is he gonna hit it to that guy? What, that huge pillar?
Any method of attack should be valid.
Hit him!
Well, within reason.
Hell yeah!
You can't swing a 500-pound monster by its ankles, of course.
By the way, I don't know how it looks on you on Twitch right now, but YouTube, probably you guys see everything in 4K. The image that in my screen right now, extremely clear. The quality, the details, and it's a video. And probably it's a video that decreased the bitrate significantly. Probably this game is like 20 times, has better graphics. And I suggest everyone play this game if it is possible in 2K resolution, and if it is possible 4K in higher graphics settings, because we are used to this situation from Black Desert Online. PRO is a company that cares about graphics a lot. They even just made lots of things in past, not efficient. They released a class. Graphic wise, it was looking good, but the class was not efficient. I'm also like my class was also main. My main class is Awakened Dragon. It wasn't efficient for PvE, for example, for long time. They finally fixed it, but the appearance of the class, skill mechanism, and everything, as to any Black Desert Online player, they will tell this to you. Awakened Dragon is amazing. That class is amazing. The graphics, skills, skill kit, and everything. PRO is a company that cares. Maybe the best part, the most cared part by them is just like graphics.
This, there if you want it, but no worries if you don't approach, extends out into the world itself. The Black Space engine that powers Crimson Desert is able to simulate elemental reactions.
By the way, that Black Space engine is the engine, if I'm not wrong, that they use in Black Desert Online. This is the improved version, better version. That's why all of the Black Desert players will get used to this game as in fast mode, because we know those patterns. I instantly recognize that kick comes from Scholar's animation, that, the martial art things directly comes from Striker's combos. There are lots of classes in Black Desert Online.
So water can either freeze or conduct electricity when struck by the correct spell, while wood will burn and smolder when set alight. The combat team cites the modern Legend of Zelda games as inspiration for this, in which there's constant interaction between you and the environment. But this is very much a system that you can master and exploit if you choose to, rather than a core component of combat. For instance, there won't be a boss battle where you have to freeze water to hold your foe in place, or coax them into a metal grid you can then electrify with a lightning spell. Cliff is not a...
Wait. You can use environment to increase your strength. You can use water to use your electric skills, or a metal to use your electric skills, so just to strengthen them. Oh.
Wizard, and so his spells come courtesy of a bracelet that grants him simple mastery over fire, ice, and lightning. But new weapons and gear help expand his ability set further than the unlocks available on your skill tree. There's a spear, for instance, which opens...
You know what I like at this one? When this guy is just fighting. In the last video, mostly he was fighting with this guy. We saw that fight, entire fight. When you got the weapons, those pads, the blue pads, you also got them. So you just own those pads. They're serving to you right now. When you get this, imagine how much type of weapons or these type of magical, objects, relics that you can have, and you can use different type of powers. This is just like a one basic boss fight.
Opens up like a propeller and blasts enemies with bursts of wind like a deadly airzuka, and a sword that summons an angry genie-like creature.
This is the thing that I'm expecting to you. Those blue things were attacking to you. He just killed the boss, and now pets serves to you, and you have the new upgraded and better weapons.
The further you progress though, the wilder these options become. Cliff is able to ride a number of mounts, which in the early hours are simple horses with no remarkable talents. But head into the territory held by the Black Bears faction, and you'll be able to saddle up on a massive grizzly, which can swipe—
Whoa, riding a bear! I want this on Black Desert Online. Come on. Come on, tier 10 bear.
at foes with sharpened—
I can see myself putting 200 hours in this game. 200 hours? I don't think 200 hours will be enough for this game.
claws, effectively thinning out herds of barbarians. Fast forward a few hours and things become stranger
Putin will be proud.
still. Your simple horse could be traded for a raptor. Yes, you can
What is this? Raptor?
ride on the back of a literal dinosaur.
It's a dinosaur.
If you prefer your scaly mounts to fly and breathe fire, then Crimson Desert also has that covered too. Fantasy's most important creature is present and correct here, and in the game's later hours you'll be able to command TriStar the Dragon, who will swoop in at your beck and call. But that—
We know that dragon, it's almost same to our dragon, but look at the open world image. I want this in Black Desert Online. In Black Desert Online, the game engine is a little bit old, like 12, 13 years old if I'm not wrong, maybe it's even older. We can see beyond that, for example, this wall. But everything is so clear. Hell yeah, we want this in Black Desert. It looks like Calpheon. Similar, yeah.
it's not the wildest option.
Other welcome, yes, we do have global app.
Dispelling any notion that this is a typical high fantasy video game, in Crimson Desert, you can pilot a mech. Yes, really.
Okay, Marni's unstable, we used to, use these type of robots, even in Black Desert Online. They like to add these type of weird things into a game. Yes, this will be very fun. This will be very fun. What is this game? This is Crimson Desert.
The Dwarven Engineered Battle Robot is a late-game treat that asks the question, what if a Bioshock Big Daddy and a Titanfall mech had a baby? Equipped
Why is this name is Big Daddy? Who put it?
with thrusters, machine guns, multi-target lock homing rockets, and a wide-radius EMP blast, your sword and board-wielding enemies don't stand a chance.
Whoa.
Fire-breathing dragons and machine gun-toting—
Bro, look at this one. You can even see the details in that much distant places. Look. I want this in Black Desert.
mechs could absolutely
I can predict PA's tradition, hatred, towards female elf characters with bow.
destroy Crimson Desert's balance, but they've been carefully plotted on the campaign's overall power curve. Pearl Abyss's combat team explained that such mounts are not designed to be simple tools that you can use whenever you want, and so all of the robot's destructive devices drain a limited fuel gauge, which, when depleted, will put the machine out of action. This means you can't just use this modern marvel of technology in perpetuity. You won't be able to stroll up to a boss battle and decimate a knight with your stock of missiles. But when you are in the pilot's chair, there's no denying that things become more of a massacre than an even matchup.
This is like cheat mode for normal thing. Yeah, this is for definitely bosses. So we will use this mech for some certain bosses probably. For maybe blast boss or something like that. You're literally just creating a massacre. No one can do something to you. What can you do? Something to all of these machine guns, rockets, and everything with sword and spear. Look at that, the body is completely burned.
Pearl Abyss is happy with this power spike though. The team considers it something of a present or a reward for players who have progressed so far into—
Wait, is he riding the dragon? He's not sitting. He's on his knees. Because you can sit here. You cannot spread your legs like that. They added lots of things. In other games, you would see that spread legs like a playtest. You cannot do that. He's just sitting on his knees, his leg.
A reward for players.
I can easily name 5 other games they look inspiration from. Love to see that in games, honestly.
Who have progressed so far into the game. As you can see, there is a wide range of combat options to say the least, and that brings us back to the fighting game comparison. Something like Street Fighter is arguably the inverse of Dark Souls, as in a From Software game, the true challenge is learning everything about your enemy and then attempting to exploit that, whereas in a fighting game, the challenge is to learn everything about your character and master their moveset. Pearl Abyss subscribes to the Street Fighter approach, and explains that the goal is for Crimson Desert
Bro, I really like this animation. You're literally grabbing a pillar and just
approach, and explains
you just hit the boss. Probably that boss has just got some stun, anything with CC. You're hitting it with pillar.
that the goal is for Crimson Desert's difficulty to become.
It's in Turkish like "Seni amına kodum." Like you say that in Turkish and you just hit it with pillar.
Increasingly more manageable the more you master Cliff's abilities. That's easier said than done though. Like a fighting game, there's the sense that every one of Cliff's actions has an alternate version.
Bro, look at those graphics. This wide angle.
Actions has an alternate version.
By the way, this is not cinematic. This is in-game. You will play this game like this. You will see everything in this game. Okay, this is in-game thing. In Pearl Abyss, trailers and all other things, they never use cinematics. All cinematics, they directly comes from in-game.
If you combine it with the right skill. This naturally creates depth, but also complexity. Dive in without any instruction, and it can feel quite overwhelming. In an attempt to keep things as simple as possible, Pearl Abyss has put a lot of focus on what each button does. The idea is that there's consistency in every action. If you want to introduce an element into an action, you build on your existing knowledge of the controller. Clicking the thumbsticks, for instance, fires magic spells from your palms. Click the left stick to use your left palm, click the right stick to use your right palm. And so to do a triple jump, which is powered by your magic spells, you string together an L3, R3, L3 combo, rather than tap the jump button 3 times.
But he's talking about, you know, Xbox, isn't it? L3, R3, all of these things, like these are not for PC. It will be very interesting that what type of combinations we will use. Shift F, Shift T, Shift Q. That will be amazing.
At first glance, Crimson Desert certainly looks like many other open world games, and that's not an unfair comparison. As we'll explore later in this month's IGN First, there are plenty of genre staples here, from puzzle dungeons to faction quests to bounties posted on the town bulletin boards. In totality, this is not an unusual game, but zoom in on the combat and you'll find quite an unusual beast. It's built atop the classic staples. There's still dodges and parries and regular attacks, but never before have I played a medieval fantasy game where I can chain Spider-Man's swing into Batman's glide, into a ground pound that's delivered like Sonic the Hedgehog doing his best Hulk impression. In short, it's safe to say that Crimson Desert is trying something different.
That bear, dude.
For more from Crimson Desert, check out our exclusive gameplay videos, and be sure to stick with IGN throughout the entire month of October for even more insights into this fantasy open world adventure.
Thank you so much for IGN that they just covered lots of things. We've talked about the combat system. We've talked about the, you know, how the magic system and sword spear working. The freestyle combat, they explained it a lot. And I say, fuck Black Desert, Crimson Desert is the new meta, guys. I definitely say that. And I can also say that the, you know, the mount, they will look different, like classic horse. We saw bear, we saw dinosaur, we saw dragon, we saw the robot, the Marni's robot. They're tough. They're just, this game's taste will definitely completely different, and it will change the entire world. I mean, gaming world. That's what I'm thinking. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I have to go back to my Twitch live stream. There will be a global lab patch related with the Black Desert Online. You know what we say? Do not forget, Crimson Desert is just a game, and have a nice game.